Hello and welcome to All Backed Up, a video game SOS, where we talk every week, sometimes later in the week, if you're going to be like last week, about video games and our video game backlog. I am Mark, and I'm going to host this week because Dylan's not about. He's got a dinner party to go to where he's making a cheesecake. And I'm here with Jack. How you doing, Jack?
Hello, yeah, not too bad. I mean, I think like out of the three of us, and I guess four of us, I think Dylan's probably having the best evening right now.
Definitely, yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna make a big curry later, but it's not quite a cheesecake at a dinner party. So
yeah. God damn it, Dylan. We like. I imagine if you're listening to this, we are just to let you know, we are so envious of you right now.
Very jealous indeed. Yeah, and who knows what Chor is doing. Chor basically just said, yo, you're not going to hear from me for February, and then just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean...
So I guess he'll be on the show in a couple of weeks' time, probably. I can't imagine we'll catch him this weekend.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, Chor, wherever you are, we hope you're having fun.
Yeah, whatever it is he's doing. His job seems to take him to all sorts of cool places.
Yeah, man, goddamn.
So it's me and you, Jack, and we've both been absent for a week as well. So
yeah,
and yet I don't think either of us have a huge amount to talk about because we're both really busy, haven't we?
But this is it's not even like I've been busy. It's not like I've been busy, like not playing video games. It's just that I've been busy playing other stuff. And I sort of myself, I feel a bit guilty because I'm like, man, I want to still like play through the games that I've started to play through in my backlog, but it's just like other games come out, and I'm just like, man, I just want to play these games as well.
Yeah, dude. Like I have been super busy with work, which means I haven't really played any video games. And then over the weekend, I wasn't feeling the best, so I didn't really want to get into my backlog stuff I wanted to talk about because I wanted to be kind of focused on it. And so I haven't actually touched my backlog or Resident Evil 2, which is the modern recent game I'm playing, in like over a week. But since I was last on this show, I did actually play an amount of Tomb Raider, so I do have some notes on Tomb Raider. And before we get into that though, I want to hear about Anthem. Actually, before we get into that, Jack.
Yes.
Have you heard the news about... we're going to totally date this, because tomorrow's, which will be today's when this goes up, theoretically, Nintendo Direct.
I've not. I've seen... So like, I've sort of... I guess, normally at work, I sort of try to keep up to date with a lot of, like, the ongoings in the video game world, but I've just sort of been, like, again, just separated away from it all.
Like it seems like tomorrow, there is going to be a Nintendo Direct all about Pokemon. It's going to be 7 minutes long, and the word smoke on the street is that they're going to announce the Gen 8 games.
Oh my god, just talk dirty to me.
Yeah. So obviously we can't talk anything about that in today's episode.
Oh god damn, man, it's such a tease.
yeah, because it hasn't happened yet. But the next episode we'll talk about them Pokemons.
Mate, like, being the avid Pokemon fan that I am, I can't believe I've just completely missed that. Like, I guess...
I think it's literally today that dropped. I think it dropped today, being like, yo, tomorrow there's going to be a Pokemon Direct.
Nice. Like, I'm fucking excited for that.
Yeah, boy. It's going to be
man.
big. But what we can talk about is Anthem, the hot new release, Anthem. EA, BioWare's Destiny clone. No, I'm not going to clone, that's unfair. Destiny-like live shooter thing. Jack, tell me about Anthem. Tell me about the Anthem.
It's very much like I said to you in our chat before we came on and started recording. It's very much feeling to me like Destiny with jetpacks, which I guess isn't a bad thing. Like, I'm thoroughly enjoying it, so I got it when it came out on Friday. And yeah, I've just
but not when it came out on Tuesday or the Friday before that or like the Thursday before that or whatever the fuck it was. Did you see that?
Yeah.
EA, like their ridiculous release schedule for it, which was like, if you get this pack at this tier with this level of Origin access, you can play it on this date.
Yeah, I did see that.
Madness.
I mean, like I also like went out on Friday and you go into shops and stuff, and I see them selling it for like 50 quid, 49.99, however where you want to put it, and I picked mine up for 39.99, so I guess I feel like I got mine for 10 quid cheaper, and I'm still having the same amount of enjoyment.
Was that a physical copy from a shop?
That
Or
was a physical pre-order from Amazon. I
nice,
know.
good old Amazon, always hooking you up with the good shit.
Because when I saw that Anthem was like when I saw it in the shop, and it was really only like I checked on my phone when I saw it in the shop for 49.99. I was like, wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I got it for cheaper than that. And I checked and I was like, yeah, I fucking did. So
Hell yeah.
so I mean that was always good. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's I guess yeah, it does very much feel like a Destiny game that has I guess you know I guess for me to talk about Destiny, it's like I don't feel like I'd be able to give a good insight. I feel like if I was someone like Dylan, who we all know absolutely loves Destiny, or Tom as well, who absolutely loves Destiny, then I feel like I'd be able to give a bit more of a better insight in terms of like a comparison between the two. But I definitely feel like it's Destiny with I guess BioWare are known for their story and the way that they've done it in Mass Effect as well over the last God knows how long is it's a testament to how they can string a story together, and I think it so far it comes across really well in this. There's a lot
Yeah, so
of
they're setting up. They're doing all right by the story, are they? Because that was one of the things I worried
yeah
about. Because it didn't seem like it was going to have that sort of Bioware razor sharp focus on the story that they are so known for. I mean, I say so known for. Obviously, their last few releases aren't necessarily as
yeah
known for that. So who knows? But
yeah. I
yeah, you
mean
saying the story seems okay at the moment?
yeah, like I guess with any of these sort of I guess semi-open world games where you'll be able to explore the world, but also you have like your main story quest missions, it is sort of I guess more enjoyable at the start when you're getting into it and you're learning all of the new mechanics about it and learning your way around the whole environment. And then I guess maybe later on down the line, it may become a bit flat, but certainly at the moment in the early stages of it, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So it starts off. I don't know how in depth you want me to go into this. I imagine you'll probably be picking it up soon or
Give me
at some point.
the sort of the cliff notes. Let's be pretty broad on this.
Yeah. So I think so. So you obviously assume the role of a freelancer who is a guy who goes around in this bionic suit. They call it javelins. Um, so you get your javelin that you get to fly around in and stuff. And I think the game, as I remember it, it starts off with you and your group of buddies out on a mission, and you're going to this place called the Heart of Rage, which is what I guess. So Anthem is like this thing that creates life out of nothing, and
Okay.
I think you go to you go to the Heart of Rage with your group of guys, and essentially what happens is it all goes tits up, and you are having to, or you are sort of telling your squaddies, "Oh, come on, we got to get out of here. We have to leave now." And they're all saying, "No, we can beat this." And then you sort of, I guess, abandon your squad mates, and then like
Okay. So
I
you couldn't beat it.
yeah, is I guess how it comes across. And then sort of so when I played it, it sort of lured me into thinking that my squaddies were gonna be killed, and I think like later down the line, you actually in one of the story missions later on, it's like, oh no, actually they survived it. It's just they don't want to have anything to do with you because of the way that you just abandoned them.
Okay, that's actually quite an interesting like bit of character work there. That's
Yeah,
quite cool.
and I mean like so I guess it does that thing where you have your central. So after that, you go to your central hub. Very much again similar to Destiny, where you have your central hub for you've got your store. You can change your loadout and all of this stuff. You can upgrade
Hmm.
your javelin at the forge, and they call it Fort Tarsis. So you go there and you've got your like cipher as well. So the way that I understand it works is each freelancer has a cipher who sits down in this like I don't, like a little pod, I guess, and puts on like I guess what is essentially VR goggles, and they see what you see when you're out doing your missions, and you have your
Okay.
cipher who can give you advice on how to do things and what you should be doing and where you should be going, all of that stuff. So you have your cipher called Owen, and it's like you and him are I guess, yeah, I think he stays as your cipher through the entire thing. I'm not too sure, but it's just you and him, and you always have him in your ear when you're out on missions and stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's like I say, it's Destiny in the sense that you've got this open world that you can go out and explore,
Hmm.
in like free mode, and you can just go around and explore it and find random stuff, and you have world events popping up left, right, and center as you fly around, and then you also have a whole bunch of people in that central zone where you can go up and talk to them, and they'll be like, "Hey, man, freelancer, I've got some job for you to do. Blah blah blah. Go out and do this." And then you go out, and it drops you. I think you can go solo on missions. I've just been doing missions with random other people online,
Hmm.
because I certainly feel like having a group of people doing these missions makes some of them a lot more easier. Um, but yeah, and then you just go out and it will tell you, oh, so we found this person here, and you can jump into a game and you're all doing the same mission at the same time. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I feel like the customization of the javelins is quite cool. You can the guns as well in the game are, I guess, it is just it's just one of those open world shooters. It's a sci-fi open world shooter with just, I guess, EA, like, again, not wanting to feel like too boring and plain, but it definitely does just feel like EA's version of Destiny. And I know that there was a lot of hype about
Yeah.
it when it first got announced. It's like, wait a minute, is this just EA's Destiny? And it's like, well, yeah. From my experience, my very limited experience of playing Destiny, it's exactly what it is.
So, like, what tier of Destiny are we talking here? Then are we talking this is EA's Taken King Forsaken, or is this EA's like Destiny 2
See,
vanilla?
I mean, again, in terms of like all of the DLCs for Destiny 1 and all of the other stuff that's come out about it, I really only bought and played the base Destiny game when it first came out, and then also the base Destiny 2 game. So in terms of DLC and
Okay.
stuff, I'm not too clued up. But certainly to me, it feels like it's, yeah. I suppose,
But I mean, if your experience is vanilla Destiny, both Destiny 1 and 2, and this is evoking vanilla Destiny to you, then I think that in a lot of ways that says what needs to be said, right? Like that's
yeah,
you are that you like, yeah, okay. So I mean, that's so what you're. But then I guess the thing is those vanilla Destiny 1, vanilla Destiny 2, flawed but solid foundations for huge improvements, which is what Taken King, what
yeah,
Forsaken was. So, like, because I get like what you're saying sounds interesting, but it doesn't necessarily. You're not saying anything particularly different to what the general sort of critical consensus is, which is this game is a little bit thin in certain ways. Like, do you see any negatives in Anthem, or is it just like, no, this is a perfectly competent game, or is there something here that you're looking at going, this actually could be better? Is it like Destiny vanilla in that way, where you look at it and go, this could be better?
I mean, I I wouldn't say that it's like a perfect game. I feel like there are areas that you can improve on. Perhaps not. I'm enjoying the gameplay. I don't feel like my issues at the moment are with the gameplay as much as other stuff. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's at the moment I'm still sort of finding it hard to gauge how far through like the actual just vanilla story modes I am. I don't actually
Right.
know
Okay.
how far forward I am in terms of this whole overarching plot that they've got going on, which I think eventually ends up with you going back to the Heart of Rage and essentially destroying it. But again, I don't know how far along I am in terms of my progression towards that. It's really hard to gauge at the moment, but I I feel like I say, I feel like the gameplay for me, in terms of how much enjoyment I'm getting out of it, and do I think that they can improve on the gameplay? I'm enjoying it. I feel like maybe some of the controls are a bit finicky when you're flying around. Um, it's certainly a bit hard to get used to in terms of your navigation and actually finding your way around, especially when you've got a whole grip of dudes coming at you. Um, but other than that, I mean,
How is the flying?
Yeah, it's
Like the flying is kind of the thing that
yeah.
this show has, right? So like, does it feel good to fly? Does the flying feel great?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it gets you from A to B a lot quicker than it does than it would do if you were just walking around. So I'm enjoying that. I guess in Destiny you have your sparrows as well, which you can use to get around. So it does sort of mirror, not exactly mirror. I know, flying with a jetpack is a completely different thing, but I feel like yeah, it's holding up well so far. Sometimes, like I say, I wish that you could sort of boost backwards instead of like, because if you're up close and personal with a bunch of enemies and you accidentally so to fly in it you just jump and then click in the left stick, the left analog stick,
Yeah.
and then you just fly, and you have like a bar of how much jetpack power, I guess, that you've used up until when you get to the end of it, eventually your suit will overheat and then you'll just fall to the ground. But yeah, like
Right.
there are certainly times where I'll be wishing that there was like more stuff that you could do instead of just fly in a straight line. Like I feel like I should be able to like use my jetpack to sort of dash out of the way, and there is a dash forward using the B button, but I feel like I want to be able to move back out of some really tight situations that I find myself getting into a lot. Um, but yeah, like the actual handling of it is actually fairly nice. I mean, you can fly up high, and then once you get to your highest point, if you see yourself running out of your jetpack power, you can just do a free fall and nosedive straight down, and you recover some of it. So it will sort of, I guess, compensate
That
for
sounds cool.
gravity. So you can sort of fly really far as long as you're going at high altitude, and then you can sort of basically go from one point of interest to another point of interest without actually ever having to walk around. So yeah, I mean,
That's cool.
like I say, I mean, really the only issue that I'm having, and I guess it's sort of the same with any type of this game when it's first released, are the servers. Like there are some issues with servers, and I mean, granted, my internet isn't, it's not the best, but I have been, I have been cabled up. I've got my Xbox Etherneted into my house, and I have been cabled up with it, and sometimes even then, I do get an okay connection when I have my Xbox plugged in, but sometimes then I'll be in the middle of a mission and I would finally have completed a mission, and then as it's trying to load up into like the congratulations, you've done this mission screen, here's your XP, it would just kick me out and say, yeah, you've been booted from the server. So I'm like, what the fuck? I'll go back into the game and I haven't done that mission, and that's happened to me a couple of times and I've just been really pissed off. But
That's not great.
yeah,
Hopefully, that's something that evens out a bit.
yeah, I mean, like I say, I guess it's, with any of these big open world games that come out, where it's all going to be sort of centralized around local server networks, is always going to be a bit of
Yeah.
teething issues at the start. So
Yeah, and yeah, like it's the maximum load on a game is always at the beginning, right? Because everyone
yeah,
gets it and everyone plays it, and that's the only time you ever get anywhere close to the number of people who bought the game actually playing the game at the same time. So
yeah.
give it a little bit, and suddenly it'll even out a bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm hoping it does. I mean, yeah, like I say, so far I'm enjoying it. But anyway, yeah, I feel like I've spoken way too long about Anthem, which is just not a backlog game in any sense.
Cool though, it's interesting to hear about.
Yeah, like oh yeah, I'm enjoying it. But I mean, you said, Mark, you've been playing some Tomb Raider.
Yes, I played another few hours of Tomb Raider, and
Okay.
so when we spoke about it last, I'd played like an hour, and I
Yes.
think I was quite mixed on it and had a lot of conflicting opinions. I wasn't really sure, and it turns out the bit where I'd saved was literally 10 seconds away from when shit actually starts happening in that game.
So this
Like
is
I walked, yeah,
is
like I
Tomb
walked out
Raider
that save point,
2016, right?
2030.
20. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I walked out that save point and walked through a door,
Yes.
and then it's a cutscene and shit starts happening, and that's when like you get attacked and you get the gun and you like and there's like the cutscene where you kill that dude, and then I played like a whole bunch more of the game and it properly opens up and you get like varied combat scenarios and like interesting climbing puzzles and that kind of stuff. So it became like a way more engaging experience actually.
Yeah.
So that's something I definitely, I was very, very close to the turn when I was a bit confused on it. Before, like a bit conflicted on it before, but yeah, like it's a cool game. The bit about it that I've found most disappointing, overall, I think it works, and I think it's really fun, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous game.
Yeah.
The environments and the weather effects, and I'm playing the PC version, which
Okay.
I think obviously helps. But like environments, weather effects, like the fire when shit gets set on fire looks really, really good. Just like it looks wicked in a way that I'm super, super appreciating. Like these huge, beautiful vistas, and like that bit that happens very early on, that sort of turn when shit gets really bad, is like you're trying to escape through this village that's on fire
Yeah.
at night during like a heavy rainstorm, and so there's just like weather and wind, and you're in the glow of all these burning houses, and you're trying to like duck away from torches and people searching for you, and it just looks fucking rad. Like it's super cool, but I think it's all over the place with its style and its tone, and I that's kind of what gets me a bit, I think, when I play it, because like as a shooter,
Yeah.
or even as like a stealth game and an adventure game, moving around these environments, like sort of solving these pretty basic puzzles and stuff, it's really cool. But then it's when it tries to be something more than that, both in its story but also in its gameplay and like its menus and its camera direction, I just think it really falls apart. Like for instance, the menus in the game, like the main menu, not the pause menu actually, I think, but the main menu, and especially the campfire menu where you upgrade and do like a little bit of light fast travel and stuff, are so visually busy. Like the text is like off in the distance at an angle with loads of shit happening around it, and when you move between it, like the entire screen like spins and swerves around it, and everything's constantly shaking, and there's constant like weather effects and shit going on.
Yeah.
And everything's just always moving, and it's so busy and so difficult to read that like I actually, going through like the upgrade menu, I actually started to get like a bit dizzy and lightheaded, because I don't get that in video games at all, like at all. And this, because the camera's shaking and spinning around so much as I'm just trying to cycle through menu options because I want to upgrade one particular part of my pistol or whatever. And I was legitimately feeling a bit like, ooh, and like my eyes unfocused a bit, because it was, yeah, so it's all over the place. And it does the same kind of thing in cutscenes, where it does like an almost Born Identity style like shaky cam, and like a lot of the camera spinning around and stuff during cutscenes and quick time events. And it's just I guess in however long it's been since 2013, we've had in the 6 years since 2013, we've had like John Wick and Mad Max, and kind of I think we've moved to this new era of action cinema, where instead of everything being really frenetic and busy like the Bourne films, it's like, no, we're going to do like long straight shots where you just get to see everything.
Yeah.
And it's just going to, and the thing that's impressive is not how frenetic it feels, but how impressive it looks, right? And so I think this is very much a product of a different era, when this wasn't how like you did cool shit like this. And so yeah, that's a bit much. And then obviously, like, there's I won't go into the story, like Ludo narrative dissonance stuff, because that's been done to death. Every single person and their fucking dog has got their think piece about how it's weird that literally 5 seconds after Lara Croft is in like tears, retching over killing someone who, by the way, was trying to kill her, she then is like literally choking dudes to death with a bow and arrow and not even caring.
Yeah.
Like there is a disconnect there, but whatever. Like I said, that's been done to death. But I think so. I've just got past this section, and it's kind of like the first big milestone, I think, in the story. It's what it feels like anyway. And it's the bit, I think, and I want to talk about it in depth, because it kind of sums up what I think I wish the game would do more. And I think is actually a really indicative of what the game is best at, which is this: you have to try and get to the top of a radio tower.
Okay.
To radio for help.
Yes.
And so you have this big long fight up this mountain. You're sneaking through tunnels and then going through like a bit of a fortress thing. And there's like a bigger boss fight and some more low key bits where you're just doing some climbing. And it's a really nicely paced sort of move up the mountain. And you get to the base of the radio tower. And then you start climbing it, and it's not like a Far Cry radio tower where like you're doing shit. You're literally just pushing up, and stuff's happening.
Okay.
But like for the last like couple of hours of gameplay, it's been night. It's been really shitty weather. It's been like shit's been getting bad, worse and worse and worse. Like shit's getting really bad. And then you get to this radio tower, and like the music, you're literally just pushing up. But the music starts to come in, and it's like quite triumphant music. And as you climb up this tower, the weather kind of clears a bit, and the sunrise starts to happen, and like the rain stops, and like Lara's having to do all this like weird climbing and jumping for stuff, and like bits of ladder are breaking off, and so the camera's kind of showing you that, and the music's swelling with it, and you're literally just pushing up. And just watching all this really, really gorgeous, music, soundtracked stuff happening, while Camilla Luddington gives a really good vocal performance of like Lara talking to herself and encouraging herself as she's climbing up and sort of panicking and then getting through it, and then you get to the top and you get like a little cutscene as she gets into the JAXA walkie-talkie, whatever the fuck, into the radio tower and gets a signal out.
Yeah.
And it's like a 10-minute section almost, where all you're doing is just pushing up. But the game takes its time, and it's methodical, and it paces it really well, and it looks good, and it sounds good, and the central focus of the whole scene, which is Lara climbing, is given a convincing enough vocal performance and convincing enough animation that it's really, really affecting.
Yeah.
Like, you feel triumphant as it's happening. Like, it felt like a legitimately victorious moment, which is like incredible considering just how like frantic and all over the place and almost disconnected so much of the other gameplay and story bits felt.
Okay.
And then it just gives you this bit, and like I wish more of the game was it focusing on the sort of the, and I like I said, I've got a lot more game to play.
Yeah.
So I can't say for certain, but up until this point, I've been a bit like all over the place with it because it hasn't necessarily shown me that focus. And then this one section where you're just climbing the radio tower, it works so well and provides like a legitimate emotional response with barely any gameplay at all, because it brings together what the game is strong at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's all a bit like is it like all a bit all over the place at the moment in terms of like the speed of the gameplay and how it's sort of, I guess the pace of it is just something you're sort of having trouble adjusting to.
Yeah, I think so. I think I think they've got Camilla Luddington provides such a good broad vocal performance for Lara Croft.
Yeah.
And she's doing the Nathan Drake thing where she's quipping. Like, she's always dropping little quips about stuff and talking to herself and saying, "Oh, come on, Lara, you can do this, you can do this."
Yeah.
And like, she spends a lot of time looking at this old video camera and sort of reminiscing about like the boat trip over there. And so you get a lot of personal moments with her. But the game seems really, really focused on making those personal moments about her being in like super violent peril, or having her just behave really weirdly around enemy characters. Like you can do mercy killings in this game. Like if you injure a dude and he's just laying on the floor, it's like, "Oh, I'm fucking dying," and he can't hurt you. You can literally walk up and do like the melee thing, and she does like a mercy kill animation,
yeah,
to put them out of their misery. And it's like, this is a woman who 10 dudes she killed ago, killed her first ever dude, and again was like in a bad state about it. You mercy kill this guy who you've shot in the stomach, and then she says, "Go to hell."
God
And
damn.
that's not like a cutscene. That's just something that happens in the game, and it's just like it doesn't feel like it's using her performance and the gameplay together in a way that like connects convincingly, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
So if I guess if the voice acting in it wasn't like up to scratch, then you're saying that it perhaps wouldn't, like, it would leave you guessing a bit more as to what the actual point of the game is, or
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think if the voice performance wasn't as good, if it was a way less convincing, like emotive vocal performance, I think I'd forgive a lot more of the disconnect between what they're trying to do in the more directed bits of content, like the cutscenes and stuff, and then what you actually do in the game. I think I'd find that less of an obvious difference, because the game, it wouldn't be as convincing, but like the vocal performance is so convincing that then when it has to just be a video game, and it's a fun video game, but it has to be a video game, you end up with like a weird disconnect. So then I'm really impressed when it does things like the radio tower climb.
yeah.
Or even when you just have like a combat encounter where it doesn't try too hard to make her like a super badass. It works a lot better for me. But then it's when they try to make her a super badass, and you go, well, this doesn't line up with what you're trying to do with the character, I guess. But it's I'm really enjoying it. The combat is like I said, the combat's fine. It's not the best, but it has like an interesting like weight to it.
Yeah.
That I kind of appreciate. And like I said, they use bigger areas quite effectively, so you get like a much bigger. It's a lot more in line with where Uncharted 4 was, I guess, in terms of the size of its combat areas. Like Uncharted 1, 2, and 3, and they do get progressively bigger, but not by a lot. Have relatively small, like quite tight combat arenas that you fight in, and then Uncharted 4 sort of opened those arenas up like significantly, and you could move in and out of stealth while in those arenas and that kind of thing. And this is a lot more in that kind of vein, where you're not just moving from linear area to linear area, you're moving from wide open area to the next wide open area, and it gives you a little bit more room to maneuver. And I guess when it wants to, it does like tighten it down. Like I said, there are tunnels and other shit to go through, but it does big spaces in a way that is really cool. Like it's nice in a game that has traversal mechanics and climbing up walls and swinging on things and jumping off shit, to then let you use those in a more open combat way. Like and it kind of balances out how, you know, some of the combat is a bit wonky. Is it so? Obviously, like, is there much in the way in terms of like hand-to-hand combat? Because I know like the whole big thing about it was, you know, on I guess on the cover of it, you see Lara with a bow and arrow, and I guess that's sort of her main weapon throughout the thing. Or do you pick up sort of other stuff as well? Well, so you have the bow and arrow, and from looking at it, the bow and arrow has like the most upgrades, and it's kind of the most versatile. And you get it to do, and like I think you can also get like other upgrades for it, like make it shoot fire arrows and shit. I'm not really sure, but it looks like the bow and arrow has like a huge range of like versatile options. And then I've also just unlocked like a pistol and a machine gun as well that you find.
Okay.
But I think it's got a stealth thing, right? So you start encounters. Excuse me. So you start encounters in stealth most of the time.
Yeah.
And so like if you use the bow and arrow because it's silent, you can kind of keep in stealth, I think. And if you can do it that, and like you can do and you can do melee takedowns where you like go up behind someone, you choke them out with the bow.
Okay, yeah.
And so you can do things like that, but it's I don't know if it has like I don't know if it has like a brawling system, a bit like, again, like the Uncharted games, by 3 and 4, they'd put in like a light punch, heavy punch block thing, or like a punch block grapple or something. You know, I don't think it has that, or at least if it does, it hasn't made that obvious.
Yeah.
But it does seem very bow heavy, and like I think you can. I don't know exactly why you do it, but there are animals in a lot of the areas, and you can like hunt animals, and like it does have a system whereby you can, you know, like if you sneak up on a deer and you can't startle the deer, and then you have to hunt the deer, and then you get resources from it. So like it does have that kind of thing, but it's not like Far Cry. You're getting pelts. It's not like you're getting, or at least not yet. You're not like, oh, I want to have a bigger holster, so I need to hunt however many of the fuck. You don't do that. I think it's. I don't know why you do it. You have to do it very early on to like survive. Like they're saying, oh, you got to survive. You know, resources, but like it doesn't have a health meter.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like I'd be able to get health packs from doing it. So
like it's not like a main mechanic in the game that you sort of have to keep an eye on in order to actually enjoy what the game has to offer.
It just seems like something you do.
Yeah.
I did mention last time we spoke about. Oh, you were going to say?
Oh, I mean, I was just going to ask more. Like you mentioned, like the game is sort of very wide open at times, and in terms of like the areas that you go and explore. So is there more than just like I suppose like the end goal of all of these areas is to get to the same place, essentially. Yeah. But is there like I guess more than one way to tackle some of these areas that you've been in so far, or has very much been that this is the open space and there's a whole bunch of other rooms, but there is only really one main way to get to where you want to be?
So like that's another thing about these spaces actually that's really impressed me. And again, I think it's because in my head, because this did come out on the 360 PS3, but it was obviously 2013, so it was late in that cycle. In my head, I'm seeing it as more like a Uncharted 1, 2, 3 kind of thing.
Okay.
Because I understood all those comparisons, but it is actually a lot more like Uncharted 4. Like it goes into some of those bigger areas, but even then, which it does something even better than Uncharted 4 ever did, which is like it knows when to say, okay, this is our big set piece climbing section, and you're climbing up like a crashed jet plane or whatever, and so you climb this bit, and then you climb this bit, and then this bit falls, and you have to make this jump to this bit, and when you make this jump, this whole wing falls off, and like it can do that. But then also, what Uncharted's never really been able to do, like Uncharted's always been very much about like you can literally see the handholds, and you just go and climb up them, and then you get to the top of the thing or whatever. Whereas this is actually a lot more like you're in this area and you have to get to the top of this area, and you can go you can climb up onto these boxes onto the roof of this hut and then swing across this way, or you can come around this way and walk up these stairs and then jump out of this window onto this bit, or you can climb up onto this and swing across these beams or whatever. So like at least in the couple of larger areas it's given me to move around with so far, and I'm only like 4 or so hours into the game, it's given me multiple routes when that's been something that's been interesting to have, when it's been an open enough area that being able to explore it and find my own way to the target was an exciting thing to do. It gave me that. And then when it also wanted to be like, but in this section actually you are just going to kind of press jump every now and then and just push forward because we want to take you through this cool like set piece bit of exploration that we've designed. And that's a really striking balance that I think similar games actually don't necessarily have.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cool.
I mean, like, I guess for me, from my perspective, I would like. You say that there's a lot of these set pieces in the game. Is it very much a like quick time event set piece? Because I guess from my point of view, as much as I enjoy quick time events, I do always sort of stress out about them a bit too much.
Yeah, it does do a lot of quick time event stuff.
Okay.
But it also does a lot of bits that aren't. Like I just had a bit where some shit happens and you're basically running away from a plane that's about to crash, and then you jump down this like long muddy slope, and like the camera pins around in front of Lara and you're sliding down it and you're just controlling left and right, to avoid bits of like flaming plane wreckage that are flying past you. It's everything's just like exploding and shit's getting fucked up, and then the camera will like spin round and you'll have to guide Lara through like some slaloms and other bits like that, and like it will do that kind of set piece.
Yeah.
But then also it will do bits where it's like you're walking through the inside of a cave and then suddenly a fucking dude jumps out and you have to smash on F, I think it is, on the keyboard or whatever. And those ones I don't think work as well. Also, and I mentioned this before and it's become even more apparent, the way that they animate QuickTime events seems to be directly related to the magnitude and speed of the inputs into the software, i.e. with them, I'm guessing, I need to look this up and confirm it, I'm guessing that on the QuickTime events where you have to waggle back and forth left and right, on a controller, moving an analog stick back and forth left and right, because that's an analog signal, I'm guessing in those cutscenes you get a kind of back and forth motion from Lara.
Yeah.
On a keyboard, you're just tapping A and D back and forth, which means in the cutscene that you're like trying to run up this thing and you're tapping left and right.
Yeah.
She's literally just like jumping back and forth between like two still frames of animation, and like it looks really fucked up and janky in a way that's super weird looking. And like a lot of the QuickTime events in cutscenes are like that, where it just doesn't seem to be able to like take keyboard inputs in a way that looks normal, and so you just get like this crazy fucked up looking video as she's just like glitching out all over the place as she's running up hills and stuff. It's proper weird looking.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really weird.
But like, I guess apart from that, like, does it control well on like in terms of just like general combat? Because obviously, like you say, it's a game that came out on Xbox and PS3 first.
Yeah, it seems fine. Like it's a third-person shooter, which like third-person shooters I think always have a little bit of trouble moving across onto mouse and keyboard, because I think they end up designing a lot of their movement model for like an analog stick and like triggers. But no, it seems to be fine. Yeah, I think like the aiming and stuff is all okay. All the mouse control stuff is all right. Like if anything, I think I'm probably pulling off like certain shots with like the bow and arrow that I shouldn't be pulling off really, probably at this point, just because you can get like a slightly more fine control with the mouse. So yeah, I'd say as a port, especially with the fact that it looks fucking gorgeous, like it looks really, really good.
Is it uncapped?
I don't think it's uncapped, but
Okay.
I think it can go up to like 120.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so it won't go like mental, but it does have a high frame rate option, and it's got like a really, really detailed graphics option list, so it really lets you get in there on that stuff, which is cool. I always appreciate when like a PC port, because it definitely is a PC port. Like there's nothing about this game that feels like it was made for the PC to start off with.
Yeah.
I always like it when a PC port's got the right work put into it. But those QuickTime events on the PC, just they look fucking mental, it might also be like I'm running it at 120 hertz and it's not used to that or whatever the fuck. But yeah, it just looks crazy, and it feels like it is just because instead of waggling the left stick back and forth, I'm effectively having to tap back and forth on two digital inputs. So I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like I've just spoken like non-stop for like 20 minutes.
Oh man, I enjoyed it. Like for someone who, I think, again, you know, like I remember when this game came out, and I think I played a bit of it because I'm fairly certain it was a game with gold at some point, and I'm fairly certain I played like
I believe that
bit of it when it came free with Games for Gold. But I mean, yeah, it's like I guess that's what this sort of podcast is all about. It's always good to sort of hear other people's opinions about games from their backlog, and you know how they're getting to grips with them. Because obviously, like, I guess again, you know, all of the games that we're going to be, or you know, the games that we're going to be talking about mainly and playing are games from way back when, and you know, even if it's only, you know, 2-3 years old, they were designed at the time to be really cool games at the time, and it's always interesting to see how they hold up. So yeah, I think it was a good discussion.
I'm really impressed by it. I expected it to be fine
Yeah,
when I started playing it because I figured it would be, it would be a video game from 2013. It would be interesting but like dated. But it holds up really well. I actually, on the strength of it, during that Steam sale we had, I picked up the sequel.
Okay. Is that
Because
the
I've
Rise of the Tomb Raider? Is it?
yes, I think it's Rise of the Tomb Raider. Because I'd
Okay.
heard that yeah, it is Rise of the Tomb Raider. Because I'd heard that it's the best one. I remember the year it came out. One of the guys over at Giant Bomb went really, really fucking hard for it to get into like their top 10 for the year and all that other stuff, and made a really convincing case for how good it was. And then after Shadow of the Tomb Raider came out, and everyone was like, maybe it's not all there. I was thinking, well, shit, like if this is the best one of the three, I've got to play it. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Probably not immediately after this. I want to dig into something else in my backlog after Tomb Raider, but I'm enjoying it way more than I expected to.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's good to hear, man.
Yeah, and the funny thing about it is I'm enjoying bits about it I didn't expect to enjoy. Like it's the character moments and the visuals and some of the level design that I'm enjoying way, way more, which is the stuff I expected to be like, this will probably be pretty like 2013. This will probably be a bit dated now. But I'm sure. But I was like, but I'm sure there'll be some interesting tombs and climbing shit and other stuff like that. But that's not actually really the bit about it that I think is strongest. So yeah, I don't know. Should we call that an episode, mate?
Yeah, can do.
Yeah, what do you reckon?
I feel like, yeah. I mean, like I say, I mean, I feel a bit guilty that I haven't really been like playing too many games in my backlog, and I mean, I already got off to a bad start by starting to play one backlog game and then switching over to another backlog game. So I'm like, yeah, I guess with yeah, just sort of jumping in between a lot of stuff at the moment. But I mean, I'm sure I'll, I'm definitely going to try to find some time to sit down and play some more Dishonored. And again,
Yeah.
I guess it's not so bad. So like, if I get bored with Dishonored, I've always got Mad Max to sort of fall back on and then play some of
Totally.
that. So yeah, I'm gonna. You heard it here first. I'm gonna make a conservative effort to play some more Dishonored, and hopefully have some more to talk about it by next recording.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I think February is always a weird month. I don't know what it is. I personally always end up having to deal with loads of birthday shit in February, but then also for some reason this month I've had loads of busy stuff during the week as well.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at my schedule for March and I have basically nothing to do.
Oh man.
So hopefully we can get back into a routine in March. Maybe we'll see how it goes.
March is my like anti-birthday month because I guess it's not anti-birthday because it's like Mother's Day and then it's also my dad's and my brother's birthday all in March.
Oh, brutal.
So I'm just here like, hi guys, I'm still alive.
Yeah, obviously, like February, we've got like second weekend in February is always Sam's birthday, and
Yeah.
the third weekend in February is always Katie's birthday. So I'm just every single February, as long as I am with Katie and live in the same city as Sam, I lose 2 weekends. I will always lose 2 weekends in February to being
Oh,
drunk
well.
and or hungover.
I was gonna
so
say like there's worse ways to spend weekends.
there really is. Okay, mate. What should we call that? Should we call that an episode of the poddy? That what was going to be a quick 20-minute discussion about
Oh damn.
video games has become a 50-minute beast.
Turns out, although we doubt ourselves like half the time when there's only really one or two of us on the, even when there's like solo records, some of the solo records have been like 25 minutes long or whatever, and you're just
Yeah,
like,
man.
what the fuck, man? How has one person been able to talk about so much stuff about video games? And yeah, I mean, I guess like we sort of always surprise ourselves. So I'm proud of
Yeah.
us. I'm proud of us.
Me too, man. Well, you can find us on SoundCloud and iTunes and YouTube, and probably if you have some sort of podcast device that skims iTunes, because I think some of them do, you can find us there too. You'll find us at what the fuck are we at? We're at Low Expectations on YouTube, and I'm a little bit behind on this, and we're all backed up on SoundCloud. That is at
Yes.
soundcloud.com/all backed up. Come give us a listen, give us a comment, give us a heart, or whatever it is. I think you heart people on SoundCloud. I don't know. SoundCloud is cool. I don't think SoundCloud gets enough love in the world, but SoundCloud is legit. I have been Mark, filling in for our intrepid host Dylan this week, and I've been here with Jack.
Bye. Thanks for having me, Mark. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Thanks for coming over and chat with me, Jack. Right. Adios. Bye.